This is a big smile on my face. As you can tell, Manchester United have battered Liverpool at Anfield. And honestly, this video is coming a day after, and I'm still smiling like a Cheshire cat. For me, it's more than 3 points. It's bragging rights. It's knocking Liverpool potentially out of the top four race. Because I mean, unless Man United and Arsenal probably, and even City, because they've kind of been dragged back into it, have a terrible run. Them three should definitely take up the last three spots. With obviously Chelsea probably most likely gonna win the league. So it was a really happy day yesterday for millions and millions of Manchester United fans all around the world, and rightly so, because we've done the double. Oh, actually, sorry, we haven't done the double, as Louis van Gaal politely reminded the Liverpool fans. We've beat them 3 times this season. Yeah, and he's been cheeky, and including the victory in the US in the, was it Chevrolet Cup or somewhere. But still, credit to United. We were absolutely fantastic. It's probably the best cohesive team working your socks off performance I've seen in a long time. Kind of reminded me of the Fergie era, when we used to go play away at Arsenal. Everybody would get stuck in and stick to their job and their task at hand, and it just came off perfectly. And it was just beautiful to watch. And then especially a couple of players that have always kind of got a bit of stick from United fans, mainly Fellaini and Mata, if you like, both outshone. They're probably the best two players on the pitch. And I'll say later on that, Fellaini was my man of the match, but, can't take anything away from Juan Mata. My good God, them 2 goals were just delightful, and people said he lacked pace. Look at him, how he caught onto that ball, that through ball from Herrera, and he just, outside of the foot, nestled it into the bottom left corner, and Simon Mignolet had no chance. Positives, obviously, the victory, fantastic, unbelievable. I mean, were there any negatives? Maybe. I think Man United fans, or they might not see this necessarily as a negative, but I know there was lots of groans and moans from especially the Liverpool fans about Jones's tackle on Jordan Henderson. Now, that could have gone either way. I mean, had it been a red card, you could kind of see why the referee would have sent him off. But at the same time, I'm in the opinion, and I share the opinion of many, that it was more of a clumsy, mistimed tackle. And we all know Phil Jones. He's got a mistake or two in him. Negative. And the last, that's really it, to be honest. I can't really think of any other negatives, We were just exceptional. We have to give full credit to Van Gaal and his team for out-tacticizing. I know it's not a word, but I'm going to pretend like it is. Brendan Rodgers and his Liverpool coaches, we pressed them, so hard. That's what I like to see, everybody, getting stuck in and doing their bit. It's fantastic. And, even Valencia, was fantastic. Blind at left back, kept Smalling in his pocket. Not Smalling, sorry, Sterling in his pocket. Smalling, didn't give, Sturridge much of a chance. Although Sturridge took his goal really well, I must say, albeit a slight deflection of Phil Jones. But, it's a good goal. But so many positives. I just hope now we don't waste our momentum and do something daft against Aston Villa, who we play in, 2 weeks, in a fortnight? So we need to really get 3 points there at home, at Old Trafford, and I fully expect us to. Here's some comments from Evan Edwards, massive Liverpoolian, Liverpool fan. He said on Rooney's tackle, he said Rooney's known for providing bad tackles in the past and being sent off frequently. Last September, he got sent off against Stuart Downing. He thinks that it was a stupid and uncalled for tackle on the goalkeeper. But then he goes on to say, skirtle stamp at the end of the match was unwarranted and uncalled for. He says, I like watching football and good teams play football without all the crap that happens and people trying to hurt each other. He didn't like Phil Jones' tackle at the knee of Hendo, and that should have been a red card in his opinion, and that would have changed the game. Yeah, Rooney's, I I personally think it was more of uh, a late, you know, mistimed tackle rather than an intentional ploy to get somebody injured on the goalkeeper. And I think referee kind of saw that, and that's why Rooney didn't kind of get red carded or even yellow card, I believe. Um, as for Skirtles, I mean, that was absolutely dirty, unwarranted. I mean, the goalkeeper had long got the ball, and Skirtle could have quite easily jumped over him, but he left his leg in to kind of, if you like, put his stamp on him. Um, and then Phil Jones now, again, I'm not making excuses for him, but Phil Jones was a really clumsy, mistimed tackle. Um, as you can see, the intention was clearly to get the ball, and Henderson got there before him, and Phil Jones had already committed himself. And I kind of echo the words what Alan Shearer said. If you guys watched Match of the Day, Alan Shearer said that he thought that was a yellow card at best, and due to being due to it being a mistimed tackle, sorry. Whereas the other panelist, Jason Roberts, said is a red card. I agree, but I agree with both. If he'd been sent off, absolutely you could see it. And when you do slow motion replays, everything tends to look a lot worse. And this is going at 60, 70 miles an hour. So I think the referee made the right calls on definitely on the Rooney tackle, definitely. On the Phil Jones. As for Skirtle, I don't think he saw it. Which kind of leads me on to the next one about Steven Gerrard. I mean, to be honest with you, he admits his fault at the end of the game. He was big enough, man enough to kind of admit his faults and hold his hands up, which is really refreshing for footballers, well, for football, because not many people do that. But he knows it was uncalled for. Whether Herrera went in for a tackle or pulled out is irrelevant because you shouldn't be stamping on people like that. Another question I kind of posed to Evan was where Brendan Rodgers decided to start Sterling. He wrote he wasn't really sure why Brendan Rodgers started Sterling at wing back. He said, I expected Moreno or Lallana to be left and right wing backs, not Sterling. But I suppose Brendan Rodgers wanted more pace to retrieve on counter-attacks. He goes on to say that Lallana lacks the burst of speeds down the sidelines and during counter-attacks. He thinks it was a poor decision and lacked the ability, because Lallana lacked the ability that Sterling has, especially on the counter-attack. And also, Moreno, he would have probably started, Johnson, because Moreno got caught out for both goals. I mean, I agree. I mean, to be honest with you, on my preview show, I said I highlighted Sterling as being probably, arguably, the threat of Liverpool, and I was kind of glad that he played, right wing back, because you completely lose so much dynamism, the pace, the fact that if he had been playing just behind Sturridge or even up top, that would have given Man United defenders and even Carrick and Herrera all sorts of problems, because his movement is unreal, and just the boy's a great player. So I'm glad he had an off day at the races, as they say. So happy days. And finally, kind of, I posed the question to Evan and said kind of what he thought went wrong. His answers were, plain and simple, we were outplayed. A key note is to rewatch the game and notice the difference in counter-attacks and defence. Liverpool were countered with about 4 or 5 people maximum, whereas Man United countered with 8 or 9 people every time. When dropping back the defence, Liverpool lost their formation, whereas United retained their formation and held a strong back line. Wing play up to Sturridge was terrible. Ander Herrera ultimately won the battle with Coutinho in the middle of the pitch. Fellaini controlled the air and won every ball hit in his direction. Emre Can, played terrible when you usually rely on him to make the defensive pressure stand. I mean, to be honest with you, I think Man United were tactically spot on. They played such a high press. They didn't allow Liverpool any time on the ball. They did to Liverpool what Liverpool have notoriously done over the last 18 months to other people. Just absolutely press the living daylights out of the opponents, tire them out, make them turn over, and then hit them on the break. And I think that's what Man United ultimately did. Herrera was exceptional. Um, one of his much better performances in United shirt. I thought him, Carrick, and Fellaini in the middle of the park kind of won the duel over Henderson and Joe Allen. I mean, they were outnumbered. Speaking of Fellaini, I mean, a lot of people are rightly so giving Mata the man of the match. But to be honest with you, for me, I would have given it to Fellaini. Look, you can't take away anything from Mata's two spectacular goals, especially the second one. Unbelievable to do it, at the Kop, at Anfield, unreal. But Fellaini just bossed everything. Like you said, he didn't allow Can any time on the ball. And Liverpool, especially in this last 13-14 game run that they've been doing, they've been playing the ball out from the back, and Can's kind of been the main, if you like, playmaking defender to come out and pass the ball. Didn't allow that to happen. Fellaini bossed him, bullied him. Fellaini also bullied the living daylights out of Henderson and Joe Allen. He took essentially three people out of the game. So for me, for all the nitty gritty that Fellaini did, that's why I gave him man of the match. On another note, Fellaini was key in the first goal. He retained possession from Liverpool, gave it to Herrera. Herrera slid it into Mata. Mata on the inside made it 1-0. So Fellaini was key for us. From a United's perspective, I've got Sarah Gibson, who texted me and said she was really impressed with Blind. She'd been impressed with him for quite some time. He really stayed on Sterling, and you could see how rattled he made him. I agree, absolutely. Last two games, Blind has been unbelievable at left back, and people were posting all sorts of questions saying that, especially against the Spurs game, he was going to get ripped to shred by Kyle Walker and Andrew Townsend. He bossed them too, and then the same questions were asked: or is Sterling going to get the better of him with his pace and his tenacity and his skills? Absolutely bossed that duel. So completely 110% agree with you. He's phenomenal. I don't think really anyone in the Man United team had a bad game. I think everybody probably averaged 7 out of 10 ratings in my opinion. And Blind definitely played really well. Sarah also mentioned the Mario Balotelli show, as we've come to know it. She said the Mario Balotelli incident was just ridiculous. I'm not even sure what was going through the Liverpool players' minds. I know it can be very frustrating when things don't play out the way you want it, but it's important to keep it together and be professional as a player of the world's greatest sport in the world. She also said Liverpool fans needed to be commended for holding him back after the little scuffle with Chris Smalling. I mean, to be honest with you, Sarah and viewers, and this is not just me, a Man United fan saying this, but Mario Balotelli just is a trailblazer. Wherever he goes, he causes issues. I mean, when he was at Inter Milan, he had notorious issues with Jose Mourinho. Mourinho said he was uncoachable. Then, he had his fallouts with Roberto Mancini. Again, having a fight with the manager at the training ground. Even Fabio Capello, former England coach and manager, said, somebody just needs to punch him in the face and really get hold of him. Look, Mario Balotelli, his ability is there for everyone to see, especially if you kind of go back a couple of years at the Euros where he lit it up. He scored some fantastic goals. He has the potential, but work ethic, commitment, just kind of like the professional attitude I think he lacks. And to be honest with you, I know Brendan Rodgers, likes a gamble with a player or two, and most of the time he's been successful. Look at the Coutinho, who was nowhere near the Inter Milan first team. He took a gamble on him, and he's an unbelievable, exceptional player. Daniel Sturridge, another one. And there's a couple other people that, that he's taken a gamble on, and they have worked and they haven't. But Mario Balotelli, in my opinion, is a big flop for Liverpool, and the longer he stays at Liverpool, I think the more issues that they are going to come across, unfortunately. Are they wise to sell him? Maybe. I don't know. That's something that Liverpool are going to have to do. But if I was the Liverpool boss, I mean, you have to weigh up all the pros and cons and just say, you know what? I made a mistake on this one. and cut your losses, or I mean, hopefully, I don't think you're going to sell him for a profit. So, I guess I agree with him. He's just an idiot, unfortunately. Just some final comments on Steven Gerrard. Now, Man United fans love to hate him. I'm no exception. I don't really like the guy, but from a footballing point of view, he's an unbelievable player. Um, and I mean, to be honest with you, for him to probably, arguably, end his Liverpool career, especially the Manchester United Liverpool games, with him being red card, kind of, um, I don't know how I feel about that, because he's always kind of been a thorn in our side. And people will say kind of it's a fitting tribute to him, especially from a Man United perspective. But I'm a lover of football. I mean, and regardless of the fact that he plays for Liverpool, you have to admire his abilities, his tenacity, his leadership qualities, and he has been one of probably the best midfielders in the last 15 years in world football. And for him to do that, stamp on her era, it showed kind of a little naivety and immaturity. But come on, then again, us Man United fans, who are we kidding? We've had Roy Keane, Keane, my favourite Man United player in the last 20 years. Notorious, leave his foot in, do the dirty work. So we can't kind of vilify him unless we kind of look close to home and kind of say, hey, well, Keno did that, so are we going to do the same thing to him? But I understand, the rivalry, the banter, and it is kind of funny because it is his last game. I can see all the tweets and the heat map of him running on, lasting 40 seconds. But I know, but I have to say he's a classy guy, especially for him to come out and apologise. Not many people do that, so credit to him and credit to Liverpool. I'm not going to bash them because they have, arguably, they could say they are the greatest club in England, but I know that that's not the case. That's my opinion. But Liverpool fans share their opinion and their views, and rightly so. Everyone's entitled to their views and opinions. But Steven Gerrard, we won't miss you though. Cheerio, lad. And just so that you know that you might win a championship with the LA Galaxy. At least when you do, you can say you've won a league winners medal, eh? Cheer up, mate.